Hi, everyone. Hello. So excited to be here. We are going to be going over Etsy's new policies and standards. Who wants to know about the big changes on Etsy? We're going to be talking about all of it. We're going to be breaking it down, what it means for you and your shop, and how you might need to be fixing your listings right now. So we're going to be breaking all that down. We also are in like the final 24 hours of our lifetime access program. So I'm going to give you one final opportunity. We will no longer be doing lifetime access, but it will still be available just for a year instead of lifetime access. So let me give you the link to that, but let's start getting into Etsy's new standards. And of course, if you have any questions, I'll pull up what's over on Instagram and we can break down your questions as well. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And then we'll also go over some SEO things because you all can get a free listing update right now, new listing, full audits, and full SEO optimization. So first things first, I'm going to share my screen. We have lots of things. So agenda is I'm going to give you the link to do the lifetime access. And then we'll get into some listing updates, fixing your listings. And then we'll get into Etsy's new standards. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll jump right into it. Okay, so first things first is the final opportunity for lifetime access is right here. And we are in the final 24 hours. In the entire time we've had this program, 2.5 years, coming up 3 years in August, it's always been lifetime access and it will be no more. So what this means is you'll have lifetime access to 15 to 24 hours of fresh strategy every week, mindset calls every week, trend forecasting, recorded coaching calls, and any new Etsy course we come out with. So, all right, I'll put that there. And then let's get into your questions. So I'm going to get to Etsy. So Jacob, you do 3D printing. What should you 3D print? We're starting with the wrong thing. We're starting with what product do I 3D print? Instead, we want to be thinking about who do I want to target with my 3D printing? Which type of Etsy customer do I want to sell to? And then it's what problem can we solve for them? What are they coming to Etsy for? How can we serve them through 4 to 7 years in as many areas of their life as possible? So that is where we want to start. We don't want to start with what product and then we hope someone wants it. That's where we get into a lot of trouble. It's like quicksand. You start throwing products and you just start sinking because we don't have a customer in mind. So for you, okay, it is May 30th at the time of this recording. I would not be thinking about a product. I'd be thinking about what occasions are coming up. Okay, maybe I don't know how much time you have to put into Etsy, but maybe a good goal would be getting the shop up and ready for back to school things. So what types of back to school things could you get 3D printed? Who is that mom who's buying the embroidered Pottery Barn lunchbox? And maybe that's who you want to sell to. They're the class mom, they're the head of the PTO, or what is it, PTA? PTO? PTO, I think, is paid time off. Paid time off. What is that? Right. But PTA, Parent Teacher Association, yes. The head of the PTA, they buy the $50 embroidered Pottery Barn kids lunchbox, and what would be a solution for them? This is also the mom who likely, I'm not saying I'm this mom at all, but they are the Awala mom, they're the Stanley mom, they're wearing Lululemon and Biore. They have a bog bag, right? That is that mom. And what would they be coming to Etsy for? Personalized things are obviously a great place to start. I do wood boxes. Okay, let's jump into, we could get SEO updates. If you are having low traffic to your shop, go ahead and put a link to a product in the chat box. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you some really exciting things. We have, this is the final day, I believe, of the Memorial Day flash sale for Etsy. Now you can just start a free trial and get a free listing. Hey, Brandy. first live you're joining us with, amazing. This is a great free trial you can use to test out Etsy. If you're like, how does Etsy work? Go ahead and watch the video with Frances, and she actually takes us behind the scenes of how Etsy took her from investing $1 in that, to making $6,000. And so it's just however many listings you want to update, but it's a full AI-based model that really identifies what customers are searching for, and it does a full update of your listings. So check this out. I'll put the link in the chat for the free trial. Okay. If you have a listing you would like to do, I'd be more than happy to fix your listing live as well. Okay, George has Hobbywood Romania. Let's check it out. Okay. Okay, we have a lot of work to do. Okay, so you are in Romania, you're making these boxes, unfinished boxes, engraved. Looks like you have some cutouts happening. So it looks like you have a laser. Do you have a CNC as well? Okay, so there is a lot to do here to fix these, but one of the biggest things to focus on is your value proposition. So for example, when we are looking at how to compete, George, this is a personalized baptism keepsake box, $94.88. Now, who you are competing with is in search results are these people. No one is at $94.88, right? And the photos are better. The quality appears better because of how the photos are done. And the price points are a fraction of yours. Now, you might say, well, my quality of my wood is way better. It might be, but we're not conveying that through our photos. So there's a lot to be done here with photos, with SEO, with pricing, with descriptions. You're competing with yourself pretty consistently throughout these listings here, which just means you have 98 listings. Ideally, you should have 8 unique sets of long tail keywords per listing, which would be 98 listings times 8. You should have 784 unique sets of long tail keywords in here. There's no chance we have that. You can do an export of your listings, throw it into ChatGPT, and get a quick synopsis of how many unique long tail keywords are in there. And these are connected long tail keywords, not disconnected. Okay, so that is, I mean, those are just some of the initial problems. Let's pick a listing though and find something that interesting. You have some prints in here too. Okay, let's pretend this is the product that we want to do. I'm just going to take a little screenshot of the product. And what we'll do is go to Etsy, click Create New Listing. And then we're simply going to upload the photo on the left. It's just the plain wooden box. And it'll upload it. It will read it, describe it, and then it will ask us a couple of questions. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do this. I just want to give you an agenda for this call. We're going to go over, I'm going to show you how to fix a listing, and then I'm going to take you through the new Etsy policies that were just announced because you probably need to make some changes to your shop right now. Okay, so DIY, wedding card boxes, craft supplies, storage. Does this seem correct? Yes, that seems correct. So it's going to ask me a couple of questions here. What is the primary intended use? I'm going to say blank DIY box that people can alter and make other specific storage boxes from. That was very complicated the way I worded that. What are the dimensions? We're going to give it a guess. 17 inches by 18 inches by 6 inches. Total guess. Okay, so it's asking dimensions. Yeah, closure. I'm going to say hinge, and I'm going to say lock. And it's natural wood. Any keywords specific that we want to include? I would say natural wood, maybe birch. Is that birch? Okay, we'll go with that. And then once it has enough specific detail from me, it's going to say, perfect, do you want to generate the titles? And we're going to click generate titles. I just clicked it down here. And you can see now it's going to generate these titles, and you don't leave the page. This is where the titles will pop up with the alt text, the descriptions, and the tags. Now, one thing I want to show you is the SEO we started with. Where was it? It was this guy. So unfinished wood box with hinges, box, decorative box, 24 by 16 by 7 inch big lid box, ammo box, wood. Okay, we have a lot of box and wood in here. We have a lot of box, 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 box. 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 5. Is it possible as a 13-year-old to start a 3D printing shop? Yes, my youngest client is 14 years old. But if you book a call with us, make sure to bring your parents. And if you are interested in the last chance for lifetime access, 24 hours left. And this gives you also a synopsis of what that includes. But what we'll do is on this free call with us, we'll also give you a $400 bonus. And then we'll take you through really how our program applies to your shop. Okay. Where did we end up here? Okay, so we're generating the titles. And then the other thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you have enough photos that are worthy of having alt text. So when we talk about alt text, this one would be good. This one would not be good. This one, not great. This would be okay. Not great. Not great. This is good. This is okay. And that's okay. I think this one and this one were probably the best, to be honest. Okay, cool. Now we have 2 title options. I am going to go ahead with this one. Actually, wait. Let me think. This one. Oh, see, this gave us so many new words for that because we had box a million times. So now we have unfinished birch wood, natural wood storage chest. That is such a good long tail keyword. So we have storage chest with lock, lock storage container. Okay, that's a good one too. Container for craft memory box. Ooh, memory box. I wouldn't have thought of that. Box with lid storage trunk. A storage trunk. I wouldn't have thought of trunk, but that's a really good one. And then trunk decoration box. That's great. So then we're going to generate the alt text description and tags. And it gives us this extra set of keywords at the bottom. Now, these keywords you can use in a blog or website. Yes. Brandy says, it seems like he needs some consulting with the product photos. Yes, definitely. Definitely. We're just focusing on the SEO for this part. So then now it's developing all the alt text description and tags, which you can then just copy and paste right into your listing. Yes. So yeah, this is a shop. A lot of updates to be made. I'm curious what type of monthly revenue they are at right now. Yeah. I mean, you're very talented, have a lot of skill, but even like with font choice and design, you could use a lot of help there. Even with how we show engraving, we could use a lot of help there. Okay, so here's all the alt text in the description. You can just copy and paste it. and I'll make myself smaller so you can see how that works. So do you see how you could just copy and paste, and then all of those will go right into your listing. Amazing. So this is now a fully SEO optimized listing. He didn't have to think about it. And this is called Etsy. And this is our software that we developed last year. And we are currently we have a free trial. You can see how it works with the free trial. And then we have our Memorial Day sale with 25% off. Flash 25 is the code. So definitely check this out and then watch this video of Frances, because you can really see the transformation of her shop and her revenue once she did this. Awesome. Okay, so let's get into some other updates. Other updates regarding the changes on Etsy. So as far as, let's see, what was it? Just recently, Etsy met, and they basically, some directors and leadership met, and they kind of announced some new priorities. So let's kind of jump into some of that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so I have notes that we're going to go over. And then, of course, if you're like, I just want to chat with your team a little bit more about my shop, you can always grab the link in the chat for Calendly, and our team is ready to chat with you. So free call. So free strategy call here. Okay. And this is the last final 24 hours of lifetime access and $400. Okay. So basically, a little summary of what's going on. Etsy is really focused on protecting the Etsy brand. Not a surprise, right? Brand reputation is very important to them. And they're emphasizing their commitment to buyer trust and brand protection of the Etsy brand. So a large portion of their new framework centers on redefining Etsy as a platform for creative human input, which is really distancing them slightly from the older handmade concept. They're tightening enforcement on listing compliance, particularly in their listing creativity standards. Now let's talk about the creativity standards. Here we go. The creativity standards. So Etsy now requires every product to exhibit, which means show, a human element of creativity. So what does this mean for you? Key points include this. Sellers cannot simply use pre-made designs without modification. So that means you have to alter something, you have to modify something. It can't just be pre-made. Listings must demonstrate original design work either through unique alteration, combining multiple elements, or personalization. So putting two things together, right? That's combining multiple elements, or personalization. And then labels like handpicked, sourced by, or designed by, that must be used accurately with full creative justification. Now, let's talk a little bit about sourced by seller. That category had some gray area. They're tightening up on this, and they require thematic consistency. So that means instead of just like a gift box for women, it has to be something like a nurse appreciation gift box. Okay, so much more strict on the thematic consistency. Also, let's talk about starting a shop or what might happen if you're a newer shop, or maybe you are even a legacy shop and they want to put some extra verification steps in. So seller verification is becoming much more stringent. New shops, they might automatically enter vacation mode pending identity verification. Who here also sells on Amazon? Okay. Does anyone remember? I remember this when I started selling on Amazon. I had to get on with this guy. Who knows where he was, but he was like, you need to show me your driver's license up close to the camera and bend the driver's license. I don't know if he wanted me to show it was not paper or something. Yes. Oh, this is a great question. Brandy, any students with handmade bookshops? Yes, 100%. Handmade books. Now, We have some, actually a lot are for children, but we also have some that are more like anniversary. So yes, I have a handful of people I've helped with kind of the handmade book category. Yes. And every spectrum you can probably imagine, from different materials, different mediums. Yes, Brandy, great question. Okay, so back to the changes on Etsy. So it might put you in vacation mode pending your identity verification. Etsy is actually working with lobbyist firms to access verification databases, and there's increased barriers for sellers in sanctioned countries or unverifiable locations. Okay, so let's talk about their new AI-powered listing review and enforcement system. So Etsy, we all know this, is a promo code is possible. Yeah, for Etsy, use flash 25. Okay. Okay, sorry, we disappeared for a second, but let's talk about their AI bot system. They are assigning what is called a confidence score to each listing. Now, a score of 100 will mean that your listing is taken down without any human review. Okay, a score below the threshold of 60 to 75% means it will be reviewed by a human moderator. And this means listings must align in photos, SEO, and descriptions in their declared category, which means made by or sourced by. Multiple takedowns can lead to a shop termination based on perceived noncompliance. Okay, listing level appeals. Currently, sellers can only appeal shop closures. Not everyone can appeal a listing removal. Etsy does plan to launch listing appeals later in 2025 or early in 2026, and appeals will now allow sellers to explain their creative process or classification. Okay, for their photography standards, they've standardized their listing image sizing, 2000 by 2000 pixels. It will work across mobile, desktop, the app, everywhere. Let's see here. They are going to be releasing new Etsy policy guide. This I believe has been released, and it will just help with these changes. Yes, so those are the main updates that I have. Okay, any questions on that? Any questions on that? Okay, I hope this was helpful. It's always good to have a source of truth when it comes to changes on Etsy, which is why we have 5 coaching calls a week. We keep sellers updated with all the changes, everything you need. And if you are curious about what that looks like to have coaching, we have 5 coaching calls a week. And this weekend, we have 2 coaching calls. So if you are in the program, I do want to personally remind you and invite you here to these calls. So remember, they're under your events at the top. And I have a call at 4 p.m. today. This is with our inner circle. So if you are someone who is doing like well over 20K a month, you could potentially qualify for this at some point. And we have sellers doing hundreds of thousands of dollars per month in our inner circle. Okay. Tomorrow, we have a call about building a cohesive Instagram grid in 2025 with Coach Maddie. And then on Sunday, we have Coach Natalia. She's the leader and manages the entire coaching team. She will be leading a call on how to apply course strategies to vintage listings. Okay. And then we already have calls with Shannon on Monday. We're kicking off our 90-day summer Q4 program on Monday. And then calls with Kristen, Natalia, and Shannon on Wednesday. We have an accountability webinar on Thursday. And then we're reviewing, if anyone uses Crafty Base, we are reviewing that and teaching you that on next Saturday. And then we're showing you on Sunday how to combine print on demand and digital into your handmade business. So we have lots of exciting calls coming up. I will have 2 more calls within this mix of the next week. My 2 calls have not been added yet, but I always do 2 calls a week with you. So if you are like, yes, I need this, I want personalized strategy for my shop. We also, this is just part of the coaching. We also give you unlimited private daily message coaching where we make you videos of your shop. But this is the last opportunity for lifetime access. And if this even interests you a little bit and you're like, I might regret it if I don't find out what this is before it goes away, I recommend learning more. Okay. And it would be specifically how this applies to your business. And on this call, it'll be with myself or someone I work very closely with, and we'll go through your shop. We'll actually go through your shop usually before the call, and we'll kind of look at what is the top priority, what needs to be done, and then go from there with really next steps for what you should be focusing on next. Okay. All right. I hope that is helpful. And then I will see you guys probably next week. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.